Hi, welcome to NightlyHaven. I'm your host, Nikki, and if this is your first time here, like, subscribe, and share. It always helps. Tonight we're going to cover a legend that is deep to my heart. I grew up hearing this legend and it always stuck to me, so I thought we would take a deep dive on Lake Winola. Fear tingles down your spine and hairs stand on end. Mysteries unknown and tales in the dark. Are you ready? Hello? In the heart of northeastern Pennsylvania, cradled by the rolling hills and dense forests, lies a lake both beautiful and mysterious. Lake Winola, calm, shimmering, and deceptively serene. It draws visitors in the summer months. Families gather along its banks, boats glide across its surface, children laugh as they skim stones from shore to water. But beneath its placid surface, the lake holds the whispers of centuries, the memories of those who came before, and the stories passed down through generations. Here, history and legend intertwine. Some say it watches, and some says it carries stories you will never fully understand, unless you are willing to listen. Lake Winola was not born overnight. Its waters trace back to an age before human memory, to a time when glaciers ruled this land. Around 15,000 years ago, during the last ice age, colossal sheets of ice carved deep valleys through the hills of what now is Wyoming County. As they slowly receded, they left behind a natural depression, a basin that would fill with water. Over millennia, streams and springs fed into this basin. Sediment settled, forests grew along its edges, and life flourished in its waters along its banks. This lake, shaped by glaciers, became sanctuary for animals and birds. Beavers built lodges, fish swam in its depths, deer came to drink along its edges. The natural world knew no human boundaries. And then humans arrived. The Lenape people, part of the Delaware Nation, were among the first known human inhabitants. They traveled through the hills, fished in the waters, hunted in the valleys, and made seasonal camps along the lake. To the Lenape, water was sacred. Lakes and rivers were living entities, capable of memory and spirit. They believed that the water connected the physical world to the spiritual lake. Lake Winola, with its deep sections and hidden coves, a place of quiet reverence. Even today, when the wind moves across the lake in a certain way, it's not hard to imagine that the Lenape might still be listening, still walking among the shoreline, leaving echoes of their lives behind. The Lenape had a deep understanding of the land. They named places for their natural characteristics. Winola, as a local history notes, is believed to derive from the Native American term meaning water lily, a small hint of people who once tended this land. Along Lake Winola, the Lenape hunted deer, fished, and gathered plants for food and medicine. They held ceremonies to honor the water, offering thanks and respect for the lake's gifts. They told stories passed down orally of spirits that lived in the water and the surrounding forests. They were not tales designed merely to frighten, they were lessons woven into daily life, reminders of respect for nature, community, and the unseen world. One of these stories, preserved in local oral history, speak of a Princess Winola, the daughter of a chief who lived along the lake shores. Her tale would survive centuries, whispered by families and repeated in local history booklets. The lake became a witness to life, love, and tragedy, and over time, it would become a place where folklore and fact are inseparable, where human memory is carried as much by water as the land itself. Among the Lenape legends preserved in local oral histories, one stands out above them all, and this is the one that I grew up with: the story of Princess Winola, sometimes called Winona. She was said to be the daughter of a Lenape chief, a young woman of rare beauty and gentle spirit. Families in Dalton and Mill City still recount her story, passed down through decades, preserved in memory and community booklets. Winola was Winola was connected to the lake in a way that went beyond ordinary human experience. She would wander along the shorelines at dawn, barefoot on the cool sand, tracing the edge where water met earth. The elders claimed she spoke to the lake, listening for its moods and rhythms, learning its hidden secrets. But her story is not one of peaceful mornings. It is a tale of love, forbidden, passion, and tragedy. According to local tradition, Winola fell in love with a man from another tribe or a white man in some other versions, a traveler from a distant land. Their love was forbidden. The chief, her father, would never allow it. Yet they met secretly along the lake, hiding in reeds, whispering promises of escape and devotion. One misty morning, as the story goes, they attempted to flee across the lake in a canoe, but fate, the lake, or the spirits themselves intervened. Some versions say the canoe capsized. Some say she leapt into the water to escape dishonor. Some say the lake itself opened to receive her, taking her into its depth to reunite her with her lost love. She was never seen again, and according to local legends, her father scalped the man she loved. Over generations, local families had told of her lingering presence, a figure in white drifting along the far shores at twilight, a soft, mournful song barely audible across the still water. Cold, heavy spots in the deeper areas where fishermen swear their lines behave strangely. Though the story cannot be verified by historical records, it has survived in the community as truth of a kind, truth woven from memory, landscape, and the human need to honor loss and love. The lake became, in essence, her internal home. Her spirit merged with the waters she loved. Even today, residents report glimpses of her in the early fog or hear her song when the wind is just right. Now, Winola is not the only story carried by the lake. Over decades, local residents have noted phenomena that are difficult to explain yet consistently reported. Ghost lights, faint white or blue lights appearing over the lake at night. Multiple accounts exist, mostly collected in oral history or cottagers' recollections. Whispering winds, gusts that carry what some swear are voices or whispers, brushing along the shoreline in ways that seem purposeful. Deep pockets of the lake, unusually cold or turbulent section where fishermen notice their anchors or lines behave erratically. These observations are grounded in reality. The lake is deep and fed by springs, surrounded by valleys that create natural drafts, yet folklore interprets them as signs of the lake remembering and responding. The stories passed down from the Lenape to settlers to modern families transform natural phenomenon into a tapestry of mystery. The lake became a repository of human imagination, grief, and wonder. The line between fact and legend blurred. In the 19th and early 20th centuries, settlers arrived in the valley around Lake Winola. They built farms along the edges, attracted by fertile soil. By the early 1900s, cottages appeared, marking the beginnings of modern recreation of the lake. Families came to swim, fish, and spend summers, yet the stories of Princess Winola and the lake mysteries persisted. Cottagers and local historians preserved these tales, ensuring that even as cabins replaced forest, the oral histories endured. Visitors sometimes dismiss them as fanciful or quaint, but those who grew up near the lake know better. The lake has moods. whispers, and a memory that stretches back centuries. The Princess of Winola remained the most poignant reminder, a story of love, loss, and the enduring connection between humans and the land they inhabit. Lake Winola is more than a lake. It is a witness to history. It is a vessel of stories. It is a keeper of memories that span generations, from the Lenape who first walked its shores to the families who now gather in cottages along its banks. On still evenings, when the fog drifts low and the world seems to hold its breath, you might see a figure at the far edge of the lake. You might hear a soft song carried across the water. You might feel, as generations have felt, the lake is watching, remembering, and speaking. Some call it haunted, some call it sacred. All who knew the lake call it alive. And so Lake Winola continues as it has for thousands of years, a body of water shaped by glaciers, a home to wildlife, a keeper of stories, sorrow, and memory. The lake remembers, the lake listens, and if you're quiet, patient, and respectful, it may even let you hear the whispers of the princess long gone, still wandering the water's edge, still carrying the legacy of love and loss into the hearts of the night. Have a good day, guys. Bye.